Hello, everyone here. Hmm. This might be a bit interesting since it looks like this game is made entirely in HTML and it's not scaling correctly with my tiny little baby screen, which is weird since it was made in like 2014, 2013. I don't remember. Um yeah, so I might have to mess with the sizing a bit. And I know you can't read this. I can barely fucking read this. Like, Jesus. Zoe? Zoe, let me read your text. It goes off the screen. Great. But yeah, no, I was to explain why I'm doing this, I guess. Which I'll probably do a few more times through the stream. I was watching Innuendo Studios' hour-long video on the history of Gamergate. Just as I was packing some stuff up to go somewhere, so I had time to do that. Um, and then it made me remember that this game existed and that so many people were very mad at it. Yeah. Um, for no good reason. And this has happened before, like maybe a few months ago, half a year ago, maybe. I suddenly was like, oh yeah, everyone was mad at Anita Sarkeesian. That being, I guess, all of the gamers on YouTube, not really everyone. Most people didn't care. Um, why was that? So then I watched those videos again, the ones that she made, and they were fine. They were on it. They were pretty okay. I don't know why people were mad at them. Well, I guess I do. I'm not mad at them, while a lot of people were, and I think that their anger was very silly. Um, this is kind of the same situation. I know these two, I guess Zoe and Anita, have very little in common, other than the same people went after each of them. Um, but it's it's just that this depression quest here kind of sits around in the cultural zeitgeist of people like me who are on YouTube back then watching way too many stupid videos and not actually looking at the thing that people were complaining about. Yeah. Yeah, and a few of my friends have actually said, "Oh, I should play this." Because me and Perea, who still isn't here, um used to play a lot of like RPG Maker games or and stuff. Because I'm not good at the whole gameplay part of games. Ooh, that's gonna give me some hate. It's not. No one's here to hate on me. But yeah, so this should be fun. Um, it'll be so fun that we're gonna get depressed. Um, yeah, a bit surprising that 600 something people follow this game since that's more popular than a few of the RPG Maker games we've played. Um, Even though this is a text adventure, it does use audio. Is your sound on? My sound is on. I guess we'll just begin. Oh God, I'm gonna have to read so much. Okay, let's go. It's early on a Monday morning. You are a mid-20s human being. You have a significant other named Alex who you are rather fond of. What does the blue text do? Oh! 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 You met Alex through a mutual friend a few months back. Two of you hit it off pretty well that first night. And after a series of awkward dates, you finally became a couple. Oh, good for you, whoever you are. Much to your surprise and excitement, Alex is 3 months younger than you are and is currently a student with a part time job and broad social circle. She's. Oh, it's a girl. Okay, sorry. Um, she's also got a wide variety of interests, and oftentimes you worry that you might be too boring for her. But she's been good at trying to reassure you that she's happy with you. The relationship consists of a lot of nights in watching Netflix when you both got time off work and she doesn't have classes, with the occasional social outing that she tends to have to talk you into attending. She tries to be understanding when you're in one of your moods, as she puts it, though you're starting to feel like she doesn't understand what it's like for you, and this is a source of tension in your relationship. Coupled with your reluctance to want to go to college parties, this feeds your worry of not being exciting enough for them. Hmm. I feel like this might turn out to be a lot like what's it called? Uh, a while back, one of these streams, we were looking for uh just some indie games on itch live browsing, and we found one that we thought looks like an interesting game, but like it took us 30 minutes to realize that was just an entire fucking text adventure. We thought it was like, I don't know, one of those RPGs where you or I thought it was like one of those RPGs where you play a little story to choose your stats or whatever. But no, no, it was just like a straight visual novel. Not visual novel, just a book. It was just like a fucking book. And I feel like this might be very close to that. And it also might be very close to some of my earlier streams, which does not bode well, but because those streams were not good. Some of my earlier streams were, I literally just read a book out loud to people. It's wild. Anyway, let's look at the rest of our social circle. Apparently, our social circle is made up of a few close friends, some of which we've known from high school and some from jobs we've worked. We've also made various acquaintances through reluctantly going to social events with Alex, who is the significant other, as opposed to an insignificant other, which I guess is everyone else in the world. I don't get why people. I don't get the language people use to discuss their romantic partners, I guess. It's always a bit weird to me, but well, whatever. I'm getting pedantic here. How long is this game? 5 minutes in, I'm like, I want out anything. Christ, this is also gonna be quite quiet. Give me some music. Give me that. I want to find my jazz. I'll play this. This guy has two vinyl records for a few. Okay, shut up. Shut up. I don't care about your goddamn coffee. Thank you. There. We'll make that all quiet and stuff. This is like way back there. Oh, that's cool. Okay. I feel like I'm putting the audio way up on my end personally, so when whatever audio element happens in the game, will fucking it'll go back and get us. Scary. Anyway, we have several online friends that we talk to regularly that we feel less guarded with, possibly due to communicating from the safety of being behind the keyboard. Fair enough. You enjoy the low commitment of the friendship since they don't expect very much of you other than to listen and share personal thoughts and experiences. Despite the low commitment, you feel fairly connected with these people and tend to be more honest with them than people you interact with in real life on a daily basis. You feel incredibly nervous trying to make new friends on your own and are very good at talking yourself out of going to unfamiliar places or larger social engagements, regardless of how much you may actually want to attend. Meeting new people stresses you out to a high degree, and this is something you wish you could work past. You admit you have a bad habit of flaking on social engagements, even with longtime friends, and are puzzled as to why some days you just can't force yourself to go see these people that you really do care about. Those that have stuck around long enough to be that close with you understand that this is a thing you sometimes do and have seemed to more or less accept it, even though they chide you for it on occasion. However, you've had friends in the past give up trying to maintain a friendship with you because of this trait, treating your social anxieties as a personal slight, or eventually getting tired of trying to track you down all the time. You feel incredibly guilty about this, but are not quite sure how to change. Fair enough. Oh my god, we're only two sentences in! We met some of these guys at our day job. What's our day job? Nothing special day job that's minimum wage, but we have enough to support ourselves now. That's cool. Still an unrewarding, that's not cool. Anyone could do it. Fair enough. Hard time relating to most of our coworkers, so we keep to ourselves most of the time. I'm switching between like actually reading you, like like you specifically, and reading we, like trying to treat me and all of you guys as the player collectively. I'm not sure what to do. Um yeah, yeah. Hmm. There's two people we chat with, though we won't consider ourselves close with them. Hard time getting out bed and forcing yourself to go in. How long can we keep this up? Uh-huh, cool. We'd really like to find another job in our field of interest, but feel like you're underqualified every time you look at online job postings. Sometimes you think about going back to school, but uh, you'd be unsure how you would be able to support yourself and wonder if the degree would really help anyway. Stop in it for 5 seconds. Though, I think that's the second to last outlink on the first page. I think, hopefully, um, there's gonna be less outlinks as the story goes on. Oop, oop. Okay, cool. Uh, Day job is boring but pays the rent. You'd like to be doing more with your life, as would your parents. Oh no! What's wrong with them? You people you know of whose parents never got divorced, but you wonder if they still love each other sometimes. Jesus Christ! You have an older brother named Malcolm who's moved across the country with his wife to work at a high-paying job. Every major holiday that you see him at, you feel a bit jealous, like the lesser kid. Despite being genuinely happy to see him, you feel very ashamed of these feelings. Your parents genuinely care about you. This often involves inviting you back to your childhood home for dinner, though your mother thinks you never quite visit enough. But you get the impression they don't fully understand you. They want to see you succeed and don't know why you haven't gone farther in life yet because you're so smart and talented. Anytime you've tried to talk to them about your motivation issues, they tell you the solution is simply to work harder or want it more. Your father is more forgiving of your lack of a career path, while your mother seems to think that you're too smart to be in the position you're in. Aww. This seems like a very genuine little piece of writing. What the fuck? You're also dealing with motivation issues that sometimes make dealing with these things difficult. You feel like this is probably your fault. On bad days, can feel inwardly angry and down on yourself for being lazy. But you're not quite sure how you can break out of it or how other people deal with these feelings and seem so very functional. You spend a lot of nights fixating on thinking about this, but never seem to do anything about it other than lose sleep. Yeah, it sure do be like that sometimes. Oh, we're finally on page 2! Ooh, and there's options! That's awesome. It's an unreasonably warm Wednesday evening. Okay, yeah, fuck Tuesday. We don't need to know what happened on Tuesday. You spent the last several hours at work. The past week or so, you found your job motivation flagging more so than usual. You've been in a fog practically all day, simply going through the motions without realizing even what you've been doing half the time, and yet seem to be moving at half speed. You're so clocked out that when your boss approaches you to tell you that it's dead and you can go home early, it barely registers. As you walk home, the streets hiss from the recent rainfall. You know that your significant other will be in classes until late, another couple hours at least. Why don't they just say Alex? Her name is Alex. They can refer to people by their names. You briefly consider using the serendipitous solitude to catch up on that project. Ooh, there's a project. A while back, you and some of your older friends were out at a bar catching up. After liquefying considerably more of your paycheck than perhaps was responsible. Oh my, oh no, we're alcoholic? And ending up thoroughly in your cups. You open up to the only people you really consider yourself close to and end up launching into a drunken tirade about the meaninglessness of your utterly menial job and ultimately your own existence. Having never really seen you in such a state before, your friends were briefly taken aback by your sudden, uncharacteristic outburst. Why is this a project? One of your friends suggested that you get involved with your hobby on a more regular, long-term basis, suggesting that spending on something you actually care about might help to better cope with the shittiness of your 9 to 5. Although you were embarrassed that you let your guard down and you felt self-conscious at seeming to have single-handedly brought the mood down at the table, you convinced yourself on the cab ride home that maybe it would be worth trying out. You begin your project some months ago and have miraculously managed to keep at it, but your level of motivation and subsequent effort rises and falls considerably. While you were surprised when you started at how good it felt to actually work on something you were passionate about, lately you found it hard to muster the energy to really even care about this. Damn. Hi, Hollerite. I don't know why I chose the fucking text adventure anymore. How are you doing? I'm stuck in the reading dimension. I had to. You had no idea. Oh. Hollerite, do you remember Gamergate? Do you remember Gamergate, alright? Damn, that's the worst dimension. You remember it happened, but don't remember any details. Okay, here, I'll do my little talk again. Um, Gamergate, bunch of guys got real mad. They got real mad at the lady who made this game, Zoe Quinn. I'm not sure if she's a lady. She might be non-binary. Person who made this game. Basically, her ex accused her of a bunch of bullshit, and then gamers got mad because they thought that she had sex with someone in order to get a good review for this game specifically. She didn't. That didn't happen. But, and then she was harassed for years and had to move houses because she got doxxed because of this, apparently, being an affront to video games or something. It's the most absurd controversy ever. Yeah, no, I was thinking about it because I've done this before where like 6 months ago, I decided to watch some of Anita Sarkeesian's videos again. You know, the ones that everyone was mad about for some reason. And I learned that they weren't that bad. They were, like, fine. So then, just earlier today, how did that ever get so much traction? 4chan. 4chan. It was also like a planned harassment campaign. It's it's wild. The reason I'm doing this is because earlier today when I was packing up to get on a train to come here, I was listening to a Innuendo Studios video about the history of Gamergate, yeah? Um and that made me remember that this game exists, yeah? And so I was like, hey, maybe I should try that game out that everyone was mad about. See what is it actually? Um yeah, and people have actually told me to play Depression Quest before, way back when me and Perea were streaming together, and we streamed way back, like 2 months ago. We streamed a lot of RPG Maker games, so they're like, "Oh, this is a little text adventure thing. You should play this." Yeah. So we're like 8 paragraphs deep in this. That was like 60 years ago. Yeah, no, it's wild. It's before I could move my hands. My hand movement is going to get so much use out of this text adventure, you know? Um, but yeah, this, as far as I can tell, what right now, it's a very genuine, vulnerable description of someone with depression. Like, I'm not sure it's the best game to stream right now, but it's not bad. It's actually good at what it does. I think the writing is good. But I'm gonna keep doing it. It's gonna be like it's just one stream. I don't even think this game is that long. Yeah, so this is the reading stream, everyone. The one where we read. Sounds goog. Sounds goog. Okay, what paragraph am I on? As soon as we think about the work that awaits us at home, we can feel the panic creeping in from the back of your brain. Unbidden. All you can think about is how incredibly far behind you are, and the amount of work seems nothing less than insurmountable. By the time you arrive home and change out of your uncomfortable work clothes, stress is weighing down on you like a heavy, wet wool blanket. Your computer seems to be staring you down from your desk. You want to sit down and work, but the mere thought of trying to work sends your stress levels flying. More than anything, you feel suddenly and absolutely exhausted and feel a strong desire to simply hide in bed. Okay, and this is our first choice of the entire game. Wow. So it seems we can't just order food, grab a drink, and hunker down for a night of work. I need to zoom out to see these. The website isn't laid out for my tiny monitor, you know? Um, uh, you're depressed, interaction is exhausting, and we are becoming more and more withdrawn. You're not seeing a therapist, we are not taking medication. Okay. So, what's the best choice to make here? We can sit down at our desk and try to make ourselves do something. We could watch TV and tell ourselves we just need a quick half hour to unwind from work. Except I'm pretty sure that's probably just going to lead us to watching TV all the night. I've been there. You're not getting anything done the moment you turn that thing on. Or we just crawl into bed. We're so stressed and overwhelmed we can't accomplish anything. First is the only one that could lead to any progress. I guess I'm just worried that it might just lead to more stress because the work that we have to do currently it's just on a project, which is like a personal thing that she wants to get done. It's not like hmm, which one. I'm not gonna do number three. I'm thinking either two or four. Um, if there's nothing critical to life, I guess she can watch TV. No, I'm going to say she needs a fucking nap. If it's not critical to life, then I'm thinking it's like if she just watches TV all night, she's gonna hate herself. Yeah. 'Cause that's what I do. If she goes to sleep, she might still hate herself for not getting anything done, but at least she has a full night of sleep. And getting a full night of sleep is great. So I think I'm gonna go with that one. As much as we like the idea of trying to get work done tonight, the thought of the amount of catching up you have to do. Lady, what catching up do you have to do? This is a personal project. We don't even know what the project is. It's a metaphor. No, I get it. I feel like I'm behind on personal projects all the time. Um, the longer you stare at your computer, the higher your stress levels rise until you're on the verge of a full-blown panic attack. Honestly, yes, Annie. This game is hashtag too real. This is making me sad. this this is making me be like, it's like, oh, the fucking where's that vine? I need this.
I do that.
Is that too quiet? Might be too quiet.
I do that.
It's it's this. It's making me do that, and I don't like it. Is this like a good game? Um, hmm. Uh, I think the writing is very good. I want to try to play some more before I tell you if it's a good game. I think it's a good piece of literature, is what I can say now. And it does not need you don't need to send anyone death threats over this. Annie, you know what happened in Gamergate, right? I don't need to explain it to you, right? You know what this is, yeah? You mean this isn't worth beginning a hate movement over? Oh, no, Annie, no, please don't. I don't think you should begin a hate movement or design a mascot that's specifically a reference to Piccolo raping Vegeta. That's the wildest part of all of this. What? Okay. You know Gamergate. You know the little 4chan girl mascot? The little tired girl they have? Yeah? Here, what's Hollerite saying before it gets to Annie? I'm gonna miss Hollerite's comments. Being behind on personal projects is definitely real. Oh my god, there's projects I've been behind on for years, and then I just keep getting more projects. I'm in project hell. You've stayed up until 4 a.m. to try to maintain your 1,500 word daily writing quota for a novel you're writing as a hobby too many times. Hey, at least you're doing something. Who? What is her name? Is it just 4chan Chan? Is that her name? Gamergate Chan. Who the fuck is it? I want safe search should be strict, but not. Who the fuck is her name? This lady. You know this lady? 4chan Chan is a good cute name. This lady. Vivian. Gamergate Vivian. This lady. This motherfucker. Yeah? Yeah, Annie, do you recognize this lady? She's the mascot of Gamergate. Racism Chan? That's a perfectly good name. Yeah, no, this motherfucker, yeah? Okay, so you see how her outfit is purple and green. You've never seen her before. Oh, wow. I'm so glad to introduce you to the mascot of Gamergate. You didn't think they didn't have an anime girl to go with all this obvious bullshit, right? So anyway, her sweater here, the purple green, purple green, purple green. Yeah, that's a reference to a video of Piccolo raping Vegeta, apparently, which became a meme on 4chan. But the 4chan moderators started removing posts about Piccolo raping Vegeta. So they started making ever more cryptic references to it. It eventually became just any time you see purple and green together, that's referencing that image. Okay? Um, it's kind of like Lost, but for awful people. You know how Lost went from a web comic to a series of like 8 lines. Yeah. So then they obviously took that and made it into a little joke for their mascot of Gamergate because they're fucking troglodytes. Like Jesus Christ. Um, I'll post that's like evil Lost. Yeah, exactly. I got that comparison from Ian Danskin. I'll post the video I watched. It's by Innuendo Studios. You know Innuendo Studios? He made the alt-right playbook videos. Anyway, he did an hour-long presentation on like the history of Gamergate and what it is. You love the alt-right playbook? Yeah, no, same guy. Same guy. And that I was watching that this morning, and that's why I decided to play this game. Because I learned all about all the bullshit. Um, and all the stuff, the harassment that Zoe Quinn got. Um, yeah. So then I was like, well, the game can't be that bad, so let's play it. I think you've actually told me to play this game before, right? Was it you, or was it someone else? I don't remember. Um, yeah, it was you. Yeah, okay, gotcha. I'm not losing my mind. That's good. That's good. Anyway, you guys want to continue being depressed? Wow, knowing the history like makes me depressed in more ways than one, like at least 10 ways. Yay, depression! Woo! Let's go! Fuck yeah! Can't like do a good fist. Yeah, come on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah! My elbow bends weirdly. Come on. Yeah, that's a weird elbow bend. The because you know the elbow is supposed to have okay is should have like 2 points when it's fully bent instead of 1 point. It's weird. The model's weird. D-Roy doesn't expect you to move your arm. Anyway. Uh Not been wandering into the living room and trying to watch TV relaxes us. We soon succumb to the mental and physical exhaustion and crawl into bed, making a point to close our laptop before you turn the light out. You lay in bed for some time, feeling disappointed in your own inability to be productive before finally passing out. Yes, Perea, I am. I'm so depressed. Perea, you know the Gamergate stuff, right? I don't need to explain it to you too, right? Yeah, you know. Yeah. Sad, that's real sad that that's the thing that made me play this game. Otherwise, I would have never heard of it. Um, you watch Incognito Studio? You, yeah, Ian Danskin. Yeah, that's, yeah. Um, you watched the hour-long retrospective he did on Gamergate? Oh my god, you're drawing Annie? That's awesome. Animoyan is arting? Annette is arting? Aw, how lovely. Annie, you should draw someone horribly depressed. Ah, okay. You wake in the morning from a sleep that was far from restful. In fact, it seems impossible. But as but it's as though you're more tired than you were when you fell asleep last night. As you pick up your phone to shut your alarm off, you see a handful of text messages from Alex you apparently missed last night. 2 missed calls. No! Tried calling when I got out of class, but I guess you're sleeping. Hope you had a good day at work and hope you're able to get some stuff done when you got home. Talk to you tomorrow. I'm out of class early. Oh, oh no! You don't know why I autocorrected innuendo as incognito, especially since it doesn't autocorrect other words like any of them? About to call me drawing art here? What is that? I. Okay, Miss Drawing. It's a mild Friday afternoon. Alex calls you from one of your classes telling you that there's going to be a really awesome birthday party tonight at her apartment that one of her roommates is throwing. You've hung out with this roommate a few times with Alex, and you get along well enough, but aren't particularly close. Honestly, arting arts. Ah. Holy shit, the artist is doing art. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Anyway, where's my brain? Oh, here it is. I don't like parties that much, but it's not like I'm avoiding social situations. They just kind of suck. So like I'm not sure if we should be treating party as be all and end all of like social communication. Anyway, you don't have work in the morning and have nothing else in particular to do tonight. You're feeling kind of run down, but you've been fatigued most of the time lately. You mentioned that you're feeling ill because you're not sure how else to explain those feelings to someone else. And say that you aren't sure or that you can make it tonight. Being to some not your vibe. Yeah. There's a second of silence over your phone, but you can swear or you can hear the sound of your partner's face fall. She tries to convince you anyway. You haven't seen her this week, and she sounds pretty insistent that you come over. She even drops a few suggestively worded hints that you can stay over with them tonight after the party. What do you do? Shake off your funk and go have a good time with your girlfriends. Okay, so if we go, we're not gonna have a good time. But I don't think staying is the best idea. Even though I personally don't like parties, I think probably maintaining the social contact would be good in the long run. So let's agree to go. You agree to go even though you're really not feeling social. You know it's important to Alex and you'd really like to see her. Seeing her does make you feel better sometimes, and you hope that this is the case tonight, even if it does mean dealing with all the usual social anxiety. The time to leave rolls around and you grab your overnight bag. What the fuck's an overnight bag? Alex's apartment is a short walk away. Is she the Minecraft lady? I'm going to imagine she's the Minecraft lady. And there are already people hanging outside on the porch. You feel your chest tighten as you approach the building and try to steel your nerves. You quickly find your partner chatting away with the birthday girl, and Alex immediately lightens up when she sees you. What does Minecraft Alex sound like? A bag for staying overnight anywhere. Got like a change of clothes and a toothbrush. Some people keep one packed at all times. Oh! So that's I don't like ever stay overnight at anyone's place. Like ever. So I wouldn't even consider that, I guess. It shows my blind spot. Oh my god. Um anyway, she said she's so happy we came and wasn't sure if we were going to make it. A young man taps her on the shoulder and she turns back to you to apologize and let you know that they have something to do for the party. Alex hands you a beer and plants a kiss on your cheek before going off to deal with whatever came up. As you look around, you don't see anyone else you recognize. This is bad. The depressed person in the game is more outgoing than you. Social. I swear, I talk to as many people as possible. I just don't ever go to anyone's place. I don't go out to hang out with anyone. I don't go overnight with people and I don't go to parties. But I'm social, okay? Okay? I swear. I swear. Yeah, I think most of my socialization comes with just people who are there in the lunch hall when I eat and whoever I can talk to in class. I also talk with my coworkers sometimes. So like I'll talk with people when they're there. I just won't go to a function because I don't like functions. There's always too many people at parties, you know? Um anyway, and also the cake's gonna make me sick anyway because I'm totally going to eat too much cake. You know how much pumpkin pie I had yesterday? I had like half a pie worth of pumpkin pie. Just just evaporating it in front of me. I fucking love pumpkin pie, but that's why you can't let me into the party. Um anyway, we can't enthusiastically socialize because we're depressed and that would suck ass. I don't think drinking is a good choice. I care about our liver. So I don't want to do options 4 and 5. So either we're going to stay in exactly that spot or just go to Alex's room. Uh, I mean, normally if I'm at a party, if I'm forced to be at a party, I will literally sit on a couch. The whole time. Um, like, if there's a friend there, I might try to talk to them for a bit, but, like, they have other people to talk to. Uh, I think I'm going to say we should stand in the same spot. Just stand there. Alex leaves you with a beer. We're unsure or with what to do with ourselves. Everyone else at the party is sectioned off into smaller groups of people who know each other, and you feel like it might be too rude to butt in on any of their conversations. As you're looking around, you can tell that you don't really know anyone else at this party. Yep. Birthday girl turns to you and thanks you for coming, and you chat with her a little until she's approached by other friends and she introduces you to them. You've very little in common with any of them, and they all seem to have known each other for a very long time. However, they're still friendly, albeit a little drunk, and ask about your life and do their best to include you. You actually start to relax a little, but feel slightly excluded when you're only one who misses an inside joke about someone's professor. This is good! We did good! This is a success! That seems like a perfectly acceptable time. You proceed to small talk, one word. That's a typo. With that group until your girlfriend returns. At the end of the night, as you're falling asleep with Alex, she thanks you again for coming. Half drunk, she confesses that she thought you were going to flake out and was pleasantly surprised that you managed to come out. She says it lovingly, but you're not quite sure how you feel about that statement. I think we did the best we could have done there. Okay? I think that's good. We did good. Like if you just stand in a room with other people, they will eventually talk to you. The monkeys on the typewriters will eventually talk to the other monkeys. Anyway, welcome to Saturday, everyone. How long does this game? Oh, oh, there's the little coordinates we're at the top. Okay. It's a little afternoon on a muggy Saturday. Your mother has come over for a surprise visit, claiming loudly that she doesn't see you enough, so she decides to invite herself over. Jesus! As you converse, she walks around your place and you get the distinct impression that you're being inspected. So, what's going on with you lately? She asked abruptly. Taken somewhat aback by this left fielder, you tell her that you're not sure what she means. She repeats the question, saying that you haven't seemed like yourself lately. She gestures to dirty dishes piled in the sink and notes the fact that you haven't called or visited in a while. Your resistance only seems to spur her on more. She presses you, asking if you're having problems with work or with Alex. And you're beginning to feel increasingly battered by her sudden, well-meaning but overwhelming inquisition. Nobody expects the Mother Inquisition. Under her questions, you become increasingly uncomfortable. You want to be able to explain to her how you're feeling, but the truth is, you're not really sure yourself. Nothing horrific has happened at work or with your significant other, or friends, or anything like that. But all the same, you can't deny that lately you've just felt drained as though you're not really here. You wish you could tell your mother these things, but she hasn't been approachable about negative emotions in the past. She is the kind of person who holds the opinion that the solution to any problem is to simply try harder and maintain a positive attitude. A stance that has reared its head in the past conversations when you've begun exploring the subject with her. You know she's unlikely to be understanding, and you feel the energy drain out of you when you imagine what would happen if you managed to blurt everything out about what you're feeling. Okay, so I guess the entire game is just you get a section of text, and then you have to try your hardest to figure out what option um from from the selections is going to be the best one. But we can't choose anything good because we're depressed, which is fair enough. Let her know that you've been feeling down lately and you appreciate her concern. Try to be honest with her anyway. Can't do either of those because, you know. So what are our options? Tell her that everything is fine and thank her for asking or change the subject. I feel like Mum might be more suspicious if we change the subject, which I'm going to take as a good thing. So I'm going to try to change the subject. I think that's our best course of action here. Are you okay? It's a question you've been finding yourself being asked a lot lately, and it's one that's begun to make you instantly uncomfortable. It's one you would have to spill your guts to adequately describe, which would be an almost impossible feat to perform at the moment. Even if you managed to, you'd have to fit through your self loathing long enough to keep talking despite feeling like everything you're saying amounts to simple belly aching. If somehow you powered through that as well, you'd have to live with feeling truly exposed. And you figure anyone who would know all of these things would be put off to you permanently. More importantly, despite your mother's best intentions, she is quite likely the worst possible person to try and wade through all of this bullshit with. You evade the question by pretending you have received a text message. Once you pretend as though you've finished reading it, you change the subject back to one you know your mother is interested in. She takes the bait, and the topic is successfully changed. A feel of unease lingers, and your stress levels stay high until she leaves a bit later. You wonder if you should talk to someone about all this. Someone who would be more sympathetic and not tell you to simply think positive. Fair enough. Okay, next options. What's happening? Sunday morning, doing stuff online. Phone rings. Sam calls us. We're friendly with Sam. Asks how we are and small talks with us. Um, Typically only ever talk to him on the phone when one of you needs a shift covered, so it's slightly awkward. You're waiting in anticipation for him to ask you to come in on short notice when he veers the conversation in a completely different direction. Oh, random event here. Probably not random. It's a very linear game. How do you feel about cats, he asks. Mine had kittens a few weeks ago, and I'm having an awfully hard time finding a home for the last one of the litter. You don't have any pets, right? Takes us a moment to process this new information, and we're caught off guard as he begins to earnestly try to sell you on the idea of taking the last of his kittens. It's not something that you had specifically considered before, and he seems fairly insistent. She's a real sweetheart, really loves talking to people, got all her shots already taken care of, and she's as healthy as a horse. She can come over tonight. You look around your apartment and try to picture Katniss. He continues to tell you about how cute she is. You tell him that this is all kind of sudden and you don't have anything for the kitten set up here. You can bring over a litter box and food and all that. Uh-huh. And he doesn't want to put her in a shelter. You can't help but feel like you're being guilt-tripped, but you decide to give it some serious consideration. It does get awfully lonely around your apartment, and it might feel less empty with a cat around. However, since you've been feeling so down, it might not be a good idea to take on the responsibility of a cat, even if they are fairly low maintenance. Okay, to cat or not to cat? That is the caption. I feel like the cat would be good, because knowing from my own experience, when I'm getting down and I'm like stuck in my own head, I don't have cats, but back at my family home we have dogs. My parents have guide dogs. If a dog comes up and really wants to steal that bag of saltines that you're trying to eat while being sad, because nothing's better for sadness than an entire packet of saltine crackers. It can really like break you out of your little mental state, because oh my god, there's something else there, and you need to protect your saltines. So I think getting a cat would be good. I'm assuming our apartment here allows cats. I think we should take the cat. Yeah. I also remember, even when I have been like depressed in the past, I don't think I've had depression, but I've been very depressed for like months straight at some periods. Um, Probably wasn't eating enough veggies or some shit. I don't fucking know. I never did like when I had guinea pigs to feed. I never ever forgot to feed them. Yeah. Because they're loud as shit. They will tell you when you're doing something wrong. You accept the offer of the kitten and hang up. Yeah, hard to get to feed an animal that can move. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even forget to water my single plants ever. Like, I don't know, I just hate it worse than anything if something died on my watch. That would just be horrid. Yeah? Yeah. Um, Anyway, we accept the offer of the kitten and hang up shortly after making arrangements for when your coworker can drop her off tonight. After hanging up, you worry about if you've suddenly taken on this responsibility that you can't handle and hope you don't make a small animal suffer for it. You're not entirely sure what to expect, and you spend the rest of the afternoon researching cat care online and trying to think of a name. The evening rolls around and you hear a knock at your door, startling you out of reading Wikipedia entirely too hard. I fucking love Wikipedia, man. Oh no, did my jazz stop? No! No, my jazz! Give me my jazz back! Thank you! Hmm. Thank God. You take possession of a small, terrified black and white kitten in a carrier, along with everything you need to start taking care of her. You take her into your bedroom, close the door, and open the door to the carrier excitedly. She cowers in the back of it, and you back off, feeling slightly defeated. You remember what you researched on introducing a kitten to a new home and leave her alone to go mess around on your computer, hopefully checking over your shoulder every so often to see if she's come out yet. She hides inside her carrier, periodically making sorrowful cat howls, long enough to make you start worrying that she already doesn't like you. But by the time you go to bed, she's curled up at the foot of it, eyeing you nervously before falling asleep. Over the next few days, you gain her trust, and she begins affectionately following you around, sleeping on you and hopping up on you anytime you sit down to do some work. Success. This is a success. I feel like we're doing so good at depression. We are winning depression right now. Late Friday afternoon, and just skip a week, and quitting time is just around the corner. A bright, clear day is giving way to a still, temperate evening. Like, here, I think one of my thoughts about the cat thing before I chose it was, oh no, what if the depression ends up making us starve the cat to death? And then I thought, there was not a content warning for animal death. I don't think they do that to us. Um, Anyway, you can hear your coworkers all around you anxiously making plans for their evenings and weekends. But you're really looking forward to just going home and resting after what's turned out to be very long and taxing work week. Just before the end of your shift, you get a call from Alex. It seems a group of your mutual friends are heading out to a nearby pub for dinner and drinks to celebrate the end of the week, and they want to know if you'd like to come along. You tentatively tell her that you're too emotionally exhausted from the work week, and a social outing like that would just take too much out of you today. You encourage her to go and have a good time since you know it's been a while since she's gone out with friends. It's been like a week. She went to a birthday party like 1 week ago, last Friday. Ah, the effort feels futile since you know she isn't going to go without you. A couple hours later, the two of you find yourselves in a familiar position on the couch watching comedy shows on Netflix, a box of pizza open on the coffee table in front of you. As you look across the couch at her, you start to feel anxious. You feel bad about effectively forcing the two of you to stay in tonight again. While you're. But she is handling this. She is handling this. Where am I? While you are always appreciative of your partner's efforts to take your feelings into account and help make sure you're socially comfortable, You sincerely worry that you're holding her back from enjoying a more fulfilling relationship. While she does seem to enjoy spending time with you, as the two of you sit in comfortable, almost contented silence, watching old shows you've each seen 2 or 3 times before, your ever increasing fear that your relationship is becoming one sided weighs more and more heavily on you. You feel more than ever like a burden or ward to her, and it's virtually impossible for you to see what value you could possibly offer her in return. Oh my god! They weren't lying when they said this quest was depression. Worst of all, this nagging fears made you feel more self-conscious than ever, withdrawing ever inwards, and you've started to pull away even from Alex herself. What do you do? There's one option. We can't ask her if she's happy about the relationship. We can't tell her she's important. And we can't just be like, ah, yeah, no, we're chill. Um, damn. I don't think we're winning depression anymore, guys. What does the cat have to say about this? This is far from the first time you would have had this conversation with her. It's the one that plays out the same way every time. You explain your fears of being worthless. She tries to tell you that she doesn't see you that way, and you insist she's biased or just being nice to you because she's your girlfriend, and she gets frustrated. It never resolves, nothing new is ever said, and rarely do you feel reassured by it. Occasionally, she tries to broach the subject, trying to discover why you feel like this about yourself. This always makes you feel nervous. You're sometimes convinced that the only reason she's still with you is because she doesn't know how awful you really are. As time has gone on, you've gotten more comfortable trying to express bits and pieces of your insecurities to her, but it still causes you to feel very on guard, and it's not a conversation you can have for too long without worrying you're going to scare her away. Yeah, no, it was going so well. The weight of an unspoken, unresolved issue in your relationship joins you in the room for a little while, but you dare not pick at it for the rest of the night. Wow. Jeez. It's a breezy Sunday afternoon. You've allowed Amanda, an old friend from school that's in town for the weekend, to talk you into leaving the house for coffee and catch up. You meet her in a small cafe and talk about what you've been up to since you've last seen each other. And you can't help but feel like they're a lot more accomplished and interesting than you are. While listening to them talk about their life after school, when it's your turn, you brief them on your activities. You feel anxious and ashamed and give a very abbreviated version. You try to talk about your job as little as possible, and feel incredibly boring when you describe it, despite her expressing sincere interest in you and your life. Amanda has known you long enough to read your mood and tone of voice. She leans in to ask a question while gently touching your hand, a look of genuine concern on her face. What's wrong? Do you suggest a change of location and confide in her honestly? Test the waters and open up a little. Can't do either of those. Fair enough. Um, Either insist that nothing is wrong, defensively ask what she means by that, or notice that your hands are shaking. I feel like defensively asking what she means by that would be rude. And I'm not a fan of denialism. So we're gonna be looking at our hands. Ah! It's such a small question, but it feels like a blow to the gut. Surprise yourself when you realize that your tightly clenched fists are now beginning to shake slightly, despite your best efforts. You feel tears begin to sting at your eyes. You try to disguise this by tilting your head up and praying that they'll suck back in. Ah! Ah! She suggests that the two of you get out of here and you feel mortified. She offers to go back to your apartment with you, but the two of you just end up talking in her car for 2 hours as the word just pour forth from you. Hey, this isn't opening up. We basically got one of the good options, which was changing location and actually opening up by looking at our hands really hard. I think that's good. Yeah. Amanda seems unsure of what to say at times, but hands is the meta pick. My hand tingling senses are happening. What should I do? But she listens and rubs your back as you sob and talk. She asks if you've gone to a doctor about this, and you admit that you haven't. She mentions that her mother is seeing a very good therapist in town and offers to ask her about it. You're not thrilled about the idea of going to a therapist, and even less thrilled that Amanda might be telling someone about your problems, but she persists and tells you she'll email you the doctor's contact information later in the week. Oh, did one of the messages change? I thought the first message at the start talked about not being social, but now it's saying activities you used to enjoy hold little or no interest to you. Oh, is that because we didn't try to do our task on the first choice? Interesting. It's a glaringly sunny Monday and one of the few days that your brother Malcolm is in town and free long enough for you to actually see each other. You have a dental appointment that day, but you make plans for him to pick you up afterwards. Your appointment takes a little longer than expected because your dentist tells you that you've started grinding your teeth in your sleep to a worrying degree. I don't even grind my... Man! Given how nearly everything in your life has been feeling enormous and stressful lately, this doesn't come as a surprise to you. It's just that you try to reduce your stress levels and fix you for a night guard. It feels awkward and too big for your mouth, and you feel embarrassed looking at your puffed out face in the mirror with it in. You grind your teeth way too much? Put in the guard. Put in the teeth protector. Put a condom on your teeth. Wear protection at all times. You finish up the appointment in a hurry and leave about half an hour overdue for meeting your always punctual brother in the parking lot. You finish up as quickly as possible and leave the building to scan the parking lot for your brother's car, but you can't see his old Civic anywhere. You pass by a blue Camaro and jump as it beeps at you, causing you to jump in surprise. Hey, you shouldn't use the word jump twice in a sentence. Like, like this is redundant. This is what we should dox her for. One sentence is slightly misworded. We should, like, I don't know. Gamergate was stupid, I think. It takes you moments for you to realize it, but it's Malcolm in the driver's seat. You hop in the passenger seat and compliment him on his new ride, and he mentions that it's a perk of the promotion he's recently obtained at work. He starts telling you about how much more money he's making and how his career is really taking off, and how he started to look at houses with his wife soon. You clutch the bag containing the night guard in your hand and feel yourself clench your teeth as you think of your crummy apartment and how long it's been since you've been able to take a day off without having to worry about making ends meet. It's only 2 years older than you, but it feels like he's eons ahead of you in every other aspect of your life. So, he asks, how did your appointment go? Did you get drilled full of holes or wet? A sense of shame creeps over you. Either lie and tell him that it's a routine cleaning, or just tell him about the tooth grinding but not the stress causing it. I wouldn't lie because I always try to be honest. So telling a half-truth is better. The dentist said I'm apparently grinding my teeth too much when I sleep. Oh, Malcolm replies, been stressed out lately, kiddo? Deciding that you don't really want to go into it, you tell him that you don't think that's the case and it's probably just a random thing. He doesn't pry further and instead begins reminiscing. Alright, have you been stressed lately, kiddo? Are you stressed, Hollerite? You grinding your teeth because you're stressed, kiddo? And now I imagine the little UI pops down in front of Hollerite's face, and Hollerite has to make the little choice. The depression quest is real now, Hollerite, and I'm Malcolm! Gah! Gah! Oh no! Deciding that you don't really want to go into it, yeah, it's just a random thing. He doesn't pry further and instead begins reminiscing with you about the time you chipped a baby tooth because he accidentally knocked you over once. Imagine getting isekai'd into Depression Quest. Oh no! That's not good! Oh, that's not good at all! Oh, yikes. Okay, here's an interesting thing. My hands are currently touching the tops of my shoulders, but it looks like they're like halfway down. And the bottom of my face is here. So my model's head is like just shifted upwards for no reason. So shoulders should be here and chin should be here. Yeah? But instead they're up here. That's weird. Maybe that's why the hand tracking is having some problems sometimes. I do notice that it's very dependent on when you move both hands, because, like, if I keep this hand right here at a constant level, but I raise this hand up, my other hand raises too. See? Whoa, that's weird. Anyway, whatever. You go out for dinner and catch up on things, but you still feel somewhat distracted by the gnawing anxiety in the back of your mind. Though you enjoy your brother's company, you still feel like you want nothing more than to go home and hide from the world tonight. It becomes hard for you to try to stuff all of your horrible feelings down and go emotionless when someone like the dentist can see a fraction of what goes on inside your head. It leaves you feeling embarrassed and weak, and you hate yourself for feeling that way. You wonder if you're really fooling anyone into thinking you're a normal person. And then you wonder if your brother knows and is hanging out with you out of pity tonight. After he drops you back off at your apartment, you throw the night guard out. You can't even stand to look at the thing. Oh, that's not good. You're profoundly depressed, barely functional, on days you can even get out of bed at all. It's getting worse! It's a dry Sunday morning. You grab your coffee and scoot your rapidly growing kitten out of your office chair, and despite your protests, sit down at your desk to check your email. A new message pops up in your inbox almost as soon as you do. It's from Amanda, and you remember your meeting in the cafe. Awkwardly bring up your feelings to her. And I don't think we made any mistake. I think the only thing is maybe if we had lied, she wouldn't feel as bad about the night guard specifically, and she might not have thrown that out. But I don't know. I'm not sure either of those options were technically a mistake. They might have just been good and bad in different ways. We get an email from Amanda, and we remember our meeting in the cafe and awkwardly bringing up your feelings to her. Hey, buddy, sorry it's been a few weeks. I meant to get this to you sooner, but it took a while for me to get a hold of my folks back home. Dad told me to say hi, by the way. Anyway, I remembered what we talked about last time I saw you, and I hope you aren't insulted, but I asked my mom for the number for her therapist. Don't worry, I didn't tell her who it was for. I think she's worried about me now, though. Haha. The number is 647-723-5274. I mean, like, well, you could have just been vaguely like, oh, it's for a friend I'm worried about. Whatever. It's a really good office. You should look into it. Talking to someone never hurts. If you're worried about money, don't be. They're one of the few that has a really good sliding scale fee system and won't charge you what you can't afford. I hope you're feeling better. It was really nice to see you again. It's still early enough that you could call and make an appointment today. Your kitten curls up on your lap as you consider what to do. Okay, we can't call the therapist. These two options are both calling the therapist. We can't do that. So either we can sleep on it and see how we're feeling in the morning, or we can close the email without thinking more of it because it's embarrassing. I think I don't want to shut us off from therapy. So if we can't call the therapist, at least we can just sleep on the idea. I think that's probably the better option. And I don't want to disappoint Amanda either. The thought of picking up the phone and calling someone about this right now is overwhelming. Sure, you're having a hard time lately and have motivation issues, but are you really in need of therapy? Shouldn't you be able to get over it yourself? What if they put you on medication that makes you feel like a zombie? What if you go and the therapist looks down on you? What will Alex think about this? I'm willing to bet Alex would probably be happy with it, but whatever. Trying to think about all these things at once makes it feel like a very big deal, and you decide to take your time to think on it. The rest of the day passes quickly, and that night you have a hard time trying to sleep because your brain is too busy thinking about all these things and imagining ways it could go horribly wrong. Next morning, you check your email again with blurry eyes and a mewing kitten. Not eye sand. Not eye sand. It's eyes and. Okay. Interesting. Unbearably me coded. Yeah, Depression Quest is getting too personal here. putting off medical appointments, I'd never. Amanda's email is still there, seemingly waiting for you. You're no more decided than you were yesterday. What now? We can't just call it, but we can call it after a few minutes. Don't call. I just fucking call them, I think. I think we should just call them. You know, I've been in places in my life where I've gotten up to like call a doctor about things, and then I get to the robo center thing and I get confused with all the robot options, and then I get worried about what button I'm supposed to press because I just wanted to talk to a real person, but I'm getting talked to by a robot and I don't know what button's the one that makes it do the thing that I want, so then I just hang up. That's been a thing. um You read through Amanda's email 2 or 3 times, then sit and stare at your computer for a while the memory of that uncomfortable conversation still makes you feel newly embarrassed and self conscious. Part of you is also encouraged by the fact that she cared enough to get back to you at all. Sitting in front of your computer, you start to question things like whether or not Amanda sent you this number out of pity, or perhaps some sense of moral obligation after having listened to you. You question her motives and the validity of her concern, and whether or not you think seeing a therapist would even be helpful. Yet, almost unconsciously, you reach for your phone, and before you realize what's happening, you're listening to the therapist line ring. Before you can bring yourself to hang up, you're listening to the slightly clinical but not unpleasant voice of the receptionist ask how she can help you. I'd like to make an appointment with the doctor. You managed to stammer out. Unbearably me-coded. Jesus Christ! I wasn't expecting to get personally called out by fucking Depression Quest tonight. Not at all what I wanted. Conversation is quick and not nearly as unpleasant as you were fearing. And quicker than you can say Freudian slip, you've scheduled an appointment. Quicker than you realize, appointment day rolls around. What do? You can't go to the therapist's office, but you can head to the therapist's office. These two options are the same thing. Depression Quest. Depression Quest. These mean the same thing. Oh! We could sit in our car, or we could go back to our bed. I'm trying to get this lady help. It doesn't matter if we're going to the therapist or heading to the therapist. If we are literally unplayable. Literally fucking unplayable. I want to dox her so bad now. Just send rape threats and death threats and tax infringement threats. Yeah. Yeah. I said it. I'll infringe her taxes. I'll get the IRS on her ass. Let's go to the therapist's office. You have your first session with your new therapist, Dr. Susan Melville, a tall woman in her mid-40s with a disarming demeanor and patient eyes, with the start of the slightest smile lines. She makes you feel comfortable fairly easily, which is a pleasant surprise after all of your anxiety over the appointment. As you leave, you make a second appointment. You're still skeptical about all of this, but figure you might as well see where this goes. Hardest part, it seems, was taking the first step. You're still not sure if and how you're going to tell your family or your partner. Okay, here's how you tell your partner. Hey, I'm going to therapy. Whoa. like I feel like I can get most of the things that she's anxious about, but like not telling your partner that you're going, like the hard part is it would totally be telling your partner about all your mental issues, which she's already done. Wondering if this is period accurate therapy phobia. Let's check what year this was released. 2013. This was written and set in 2013. I don't remember what the general populace's feelings on therapy were in 2013, given I was 8 for most of that year. So, either way, you feel relieved that you managed to see this through instead of being paralyzed with worry over it. Even if nothing comes of it, you did something you said you would instead of flaking out or running away. Back then, it was seen as a bad thing. Your dad hated going to therapy. Oh, that's weird. I wonder why it feels like the perceptions have changed. Maybe it's just living in Oregon. Maybe other places in the country where I'm not at, they still don't like therapy. But it just feels like no one's going to like think less of you for going to therapy. It feels like most people I know have been to therapy at least once. Hmm. You're emotionally exhausted when you get home and collapse into bed. You sleep better that night than you have in a week, and you're not sure if it's because you were so tired when you got home or if it's because of the therapist. You spent more time on a therapist's couch. You have difficulty finding the motivation to continue going to your sessions. I think this is a good step. I think we're making good steps. Early Wednesday morning. You've developed a nasty habit of waking up 10 to 20 minutes before your alarm rings. I'd be fine with that. And unfortunately, today is no exception. You lay in bed, each minute taking closer and closer to wake up time and passing on a swelling wave of ever encroaching dread. Sooner than you would like, your alarm blares with caustic inevitability. You frantically pound the snooze button and then retreat under your blankets, as if the warmth of your comforter can shield you from the passage of time. You almost always have difficulty rising from bed, but today that simple task seems nothing short of Herculean. After several snooze cycles, decides that you just can't deal with work today. Oh no! You're incapable of even rousing yourself from bed, let alone going into work and having to force yourself through a work day. Not to mention you've snoozed so many times that would be impossible to make it on time now anyways. Okay, so going to work is an option. We probably won't have the best time at work, but I feel like the fallout of not being at work would be worse. Yeah? I feel like probably if we go into work late, then our boss might get on our case about it. And if we tell him we're sick, he'll probably be fine. But we'll feel worse if we completely flake out on work. Okay? So even though it might be worse from the workplace's perspective, I think it would be better for our mental health to go to work. I'm trying to explain like my reasoning for all of my choices here every time because that's like the only fucking gameplay element here. Which isn't a bad thing. It's just not as interesting for a stream, you know. For me to read 5 paragraphs and then be like, I'm coming to get you. Gonna come get. I can lean in real close to the camera here. This game should have FPS mechanics. Yeah, if this game doesn't have FPS mechanics, I'm going to dox the developer. Actually, I'm probably glad this doesn't have FPS mechanics. I'd be bad at FPSs. In spite of the fact that your body is actively fighting you literally every step of the way, you somehow manage to drag yourself out of bed and make your way to work. Surprisingly, you end up only being about 5 minutes late, and nobody seems to notice or care. Though when you woke up, the simple act of being even physically present at your job seemed like an impossibility. You're surprised at your own ability to push on through the day. While you're far from enjoying or indeed even really coping with the dullness of your job today, you seem to have slipped into a trance-like state of automation, and time is nevertheless passing. Eventually, the end of the day rolls around and you head home, utterly exhausted, but at the same time, proud of yourself. Your depression meter went down? Ah, this is good. We're crushing this. Yeah. We did mess up the hobby earlier. It hasn't come up since. But but this is good. We're proud of ourselves. It's 2 a.m. on a Saturday and you have work in the morning. You roll over to see the sickly green glow of the time displayed on your LED alarm clock and let out an exasperated sigh. I was really fucking tired when I started the stream. Oh my god. Um, You've been trying to fall asleep for over 3 hours now to no avail. Every time your head hits the pillow, you're overcome with anxious thoughts that wrap themselves around each other. Worries about your job lead to worries about your future lead to worries about your very identity. And you're unable to shake them off long enough to doze off. Your eyes won't even stay shut as your mind races through imagined scenarios going horribly wrong, which you promptly attribute to your general worthlessness. Mamma mia! Your thoughts run too fast for you to come to some satisfying conclusion on any one of them. The room is completely silent, but the silence has given way to a loud static noise rattling around the inside of your head. Your heart beats loudly, and you worry it's beating a little too fast. Breathing exercises. That's what I always do. You have to get your breathing exercises right. And you have to remember that breathing out contracts the space in your chest cavity, um, which I think that'll make your heart beat faster. Meanwhile, breathing in will lower the diaphragm and give your heart more space, which will make it beat slower, which means that if you breathe in slowly and breathe out quickly, it will slow down your heart better. If I remember that correctly. So that's a fun little fact about the things. That's also kind of why they say breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, because you breathe in slower through the nose and quicker out the mouth. Um, it does the same thing. So that's cool. That's why things happen. That's why everything happens. Your thoughts run too fast to come to a satis. Okay, yeah. There's the static heart. You worry that if you focus too strongly on your racing heart, you'll freak yourself out hard enough that you have a heart attack. You've been and awake for work. You have to be awake for work in a mere 8 hours, and you know that your work is so much worse than only a few hours sleep. What do you do? We only have one option. No forcing ourselves to sleep. No going to bed. No closing our eyes. No snapping out of it. And probably going to go to work tomorrow exhausted and fuck up everything and get fired. I'm in this picture and I don't like it. Oh my. Let's go to the computer. You get out of bed and head to your desk. Laying in bed with nothing but your thoughts to keep you company makes you feel like you're going insane. The harshness of the light coming from the screen makes you squint as you turn it on, despite how often you find yourself in this exact situation. There have been so many nights lately just like this. As you begin reading a news story, an online friend of yours IMs you. Hey, they use the word I am. That dates this. Instant message. I've been thinking about this because in Annie's server, we found the song "Less Than Three." Yeah, it's a very cute little early 2010 song, late 2000s actually. I think it's pre 2010s. It uses a bunch of like internet slang and stuff. Less than three being the little uh meaning less than three, a little heart. And they talk about I ams and I that's why I've been thinking about the word I ams. Now we say DMs, but they used to say I ams. Wow. You're up late again. I can see. Yeah, can't sleep again. Thinking too. Think. Think. Been knig too much again. Thinking. You guessed it. Sad. Want to talk about it? You end up talking with Attic for quite some time about how you've been feeling. He's always been easy to talk to you about personal matters, and the added security of talking online helps. Being able to rethink what you say as you type it out and check it for, or you send it out helps you gather your thoughts. You find it less intimidating in a way to type it all out into a prompt than to say it out loud. Guys, guys, does the main character of Depression Quest have depression? I I I think they might have depression. I think Attic might be right here. I think he might be right when he says we might have depression in Depression Quest. You pause. Are you really that transparent, or is it that you've gotten used to talking about your feelings at this point? Your insomnia makes you feel a little paranoid, but you shake it off. No way. No way. I don't believe it. Depression in Depression Quest? We can do some research and see if there's a good doctor near you. It's not like you're going back to sleep anytime soon anyway. Might as well I'll do something while you're awake. We have talked to someone about it. We talked to that therapist. Glad you're taking that step. You've heard it's not an easy one. He knows people kind of suck at understanding this sort of stuff sometimes, but there's nothing wrong with having depression. You shouldn't be ashamed. You wouldn't be ashamed to have bronchitis or something. So there's no reason to be ashamed if it's your brain that's sick instead. Thanks, Attic. You spend a few more minutes talking with Attic about your therapy and your feelings about it. He's incredibly supportive, and you are happy to find that you have a confidant that understands your illness and is willing to lend an ear when you're having a night like this. A little while later, you fall back into bed, kitten in tow, and find it easier to drift off to sleep. Even in therapy, you know you're still gonna have nights like these sometimes. It's good to know you have a friend who will help carry you through them. I I feel like I'm winning depression so hard right now. Welcome to Thursday. A chilly Thursday night, and we've just gotten off work, and my mouth is getting so fucking dry. Sandpaper, and I don't have any water in here. That. This night has felt like one of the longest days you've faced in recent memory. Even though nothing exceptional has happened, a ton of minor things kept going wrong, and coworkers had tried your patience throughout the day. You considered leaving work early, but the last thing you wanted to do was deal with your insufferable boss on top of everything else. You're lost in thought on the commute home, and your feelings of frustration with both your life and the world around you build as you run into minor annoyances, like someone bumping into you really hard as they walk by. By the time you get home, you're exhausted, and remember that these feelings were once you identified as a negative feedback loop with your therapist. Therapy works, baby! Fuck yeah! These pent up feelings aren't dying down and are eating at you. You open your front door or and stare at your apartment. An overwhelming feeling of exhaustion overcomes you, and you feel like your energy levels are low enough that you'll likely settle into a single activity tonight. What do you do? I mean, I'd play with the cat. I'd play with the cat. That's what I'd do. Um, Reach out to someone close to you, or don't burden anyone with your problems. Distract yourself. I feel like I wouldn't do this because I don't actually think I have that many close friends. And I always do feel like talking about problems is a burden to everyone, even though that's not true. That's not actually true. But, um, but since this isn't me, we can make the right choice here and talk to someone. Reach out is risky. Bottom is solidly semi-bad. I think we're going to reach out. Talking to someone is better than not talking to someone. Even if I wouldn't do it in real life, this is a video game and we can make the right choices. Like, shit, bastard. Every day my mouth gets more dry. Yeah, give me some USSR groups. Let's listen to this. Thank you, Mr. Maj. Don't sue me, Maj. Your head feels too noisy and you need to trade it for some actual conversation. Your therapist did say it was important to reach out to your support network, so you might as well give it a shot. Who do you call? Your mother, Alex, or Malcolm? I don't think we should talk to Mother because from what we've learned so far, she's just not going to understand. Yeah? I don't think. I think we should talk to Alex because we haven't talked to her in a while, and maintaining that relationship is important. And I don't know about Malcolm because last time we just avoided the topic with him completely. So I'm thinking we should talk to Alex. Do you guys have any thoughts? This is an interesting one because I'm not sure if any of them are necessarily awful choices, but unless you're about the strengths and weaknesses of these. But we're not allowed to talk to our coworker Sam because of depression? Oh, funky. Wow. Nothing. Okay. If no one has anything, I'm just gonna call Alex, which apparently is JavaScript void 0. They're all JavaScript void 0. This is just a text element. That's cute. It would be nice if it was like a fake link that you could, that when you moused over it, it gave you the little underline, but you just can't click it, just to really piss people off. I'm gonna call Alex. That would be cute. Yeah. You dial Alex, who picks up after only 2 rings. You ask if she has time to talk, and she tells you she's just hanging around in her PJs and is actually somewhat bored for once due to being caught up in her coursework. You try to figure out where to start with how you're feeling and overcome with missing her face. You ask her if she feels like grabbing some dinner, and you notice her barely contained surprise and delight on the other end of the line. It was the right choice. It was the right choice. My headset's gonna fall off. Jesus Christ. This is good. Things are good. Beating depression. One step at a time. You meet about half. You are dominating. Yeah. Dominating the depression. Fuck yeah. This game's easy. It's a depression record. The world record in depression. Only I could do that in real life. You meet about half an hour later at an inexpensive diner not far from your apartment. While the food is not great, you're surprised by how much your mood seems mood seems to have elevated just being in her company. Well, at first you were extremely hesitant to talk about your job situation for fear of being burdensome or sounding like a whiner. You see her listening intently to you with what, even to you, seems to be a genuine concern. After winding down with a beer, oh no, alcoholism, you cautiously open up a little bit more about your feelings surrounding your job and how drained it leaves you feeling, and how you feel like you're simply existing, selling days of your life for no real purpose. You surprise even yourself when you start talking about how frustrated and stymied you feel by your job, how you used to feel passionately about things, but feel like all your energy and capacity for creativity is getting leached out of you each and every workday. Can't remember how long it's been since you've externalized this much raw emotion. The two of you spend several hours in that diner room, long after your half-eaten food was cleared and the waitress stopped refilling your coffee cups. As you get up to leave, a sudden wave of uh, self consciousness washes over you, and you suddenly feel incredibly awkward. Then Alex stands up, grabs you tightly around your waist. You realize that, short of boring her with your seemingly endless rants, she's simply happy to have gotten a chance to spend time, real time with you. It's been, by all accounts, incredibly too long since you've allowed yourself to open up to them like this. And there's an almost palpable feeling of closeness you allow yourself to hold on to as you go to bed that night. Hey, the meter is better. It's an utterly nondescript Wednesday afternoon, type of afternoon that would completely fade from memory unless one made an active effort to preserve it. As has become routine on Wednesdays, you're sitting on the couch in Dr. Melville's office. To your mild surprise, she begins the session by breaking her characteristic therapist's silence. Huh? Normally, my therapists talk to me. It would be weird if they were silent the whole time. Ugh. and begin speaking up right away. I wanted to start by saying I think it's great you decided to come to see me. It's an incredibly important first step. Yours didn't take a vow of silence. No, no, they didn't. I once went to a therapist place that was actually on like a big plot of land, and it had a bunch of horses and shit, and I was scared of the goats because I thought they wanted to kill me. That was the cool therapist place. Didn't help at all, but the goats were cool and they had free marshmallows. I'm not sure therapy has ever really worked for me. With any like mental problems I've had, I've always solved them when I'm not in therapy. You wish you got goats? Yeah. If I could go back and tell my 13-year-old self to appreciate the goats more, I would. That was the same place where, because they needed to diagnose me with something, they basically sat me down. I was really young, and they were like, okay, kiddo, do you want to have anxiety or autism? We need to diagnose you with something, just pick one of them. And I didn't know what those words meant, so I just picked anxiety randomly, and that's why I was diagnosed with anxiety. It was such a time. Um yeah, this is funky. The music. Should have gone for autism. That's the meta route. I should have. I do need to go get like a mental evaluation because the therapy was mostly about trying to fix your relationship with a dude who later tried to kill you. Oh my god! Whoa! That's wild! Absolutely insane. Where was I? Um, she wanted to take some time today to talk with us about the possibility of supplementing your substituting your treatment with medication. The mention of medication makes your ears perk up and you feel your heart rate increasing, she continues. Many people find adding a pharmacological element to their treatment to be very helpful, and some even prefer to take drugs, completely eliminating their need to visit a therapist at all. Providing you rely on your support network and are still reaching out to people, I would prefer it if we kept talking, should you choose to start medication, so that I can monitor your progress and adjust as needed. But the choice is ultimately yours. I just wanted to run the option by you to gauge what your thoughts on the matter might be. Dr. Melville has given you a lot to think about. What do you do? It's the last bar! We can change it. And there's no X out choices. We can choose anything. Turns out your approach to the relationship was not the problem. I think I think you should try to kill him. I think that would have fixed the relationship. I think if you learn he tried to if he tries to kill you, kill him right back. Get like a shotgun. Just fucking bam. Blood all over the walls. You've thought about doing that many times, not worth the jail time though. That's only if you murder him badly enough. Anyway, what are our choices? We have all the choices! Holy shit. Accept a prescription as a way to augment our therapy. Tell her you'd like to try drugs instead of therapy. The thought of messing with your brain chemicals make you feel uneasy. The whole therapy thing has overwhelmed you, and this is the final straw. You're done with both. I'm going to accept the drugs. I'm taking the drugs. I don't care. The drugs, chemicals are awesome. Chemicals are awesome. Drug time. You think the matter over long and hard. It's strange to think that recently this sort of thing was even on, none of this sort of thing was even on your radar. One all the way, one all the way. Take that drug. And here you are now being asked to make a decision about it. You're both skeptical and nervous, still getting over the initial shock of even just talking to a therapist. I wonder what the depressed route would be. How bad can you do it? If the game ends very soon, we might be able to do the depressed route because it's only been 2 hours, and normally I go for 4 hours. But we'll see. You're both skeptical and nervous, still getting over the initial shock of even just talking to a therapist. Still, over the years, you've done enough entry-level reading on the subject to know that if it doesn't help, at least it probably won't hurt, right? It could, but you have to go through a few. After an intense and protracted period of internal vacillation, you decide to bite the bullet and go for it. You tell Dr. Melville that you'd like to try medication in addition to your therapy. And you spend about half an hour going over what you'll be taking and what you should expect from it. Thinking back on the decision later, you're pretty sure that you had your fists tightly clenched the whole way through. Fuck yeah! I think we're winning. It's a Wednesday evening and you're visiting at your parents' house for a holiday. It's one of the handful of times during the year you drive out to visit your old hometown, and you've seen random people you'd gone to school with around town. Whenever bumping into them, the usual short versions of what you've done since graduating are exchanged. You've gone through a few of these today and have been very aware of how much you feel like you haven't accomplished. When you were in high school, you had much larger plans, and you feel like you failed to manifest most of them. Even if you had managed to, you've largely lost interest in what you thought you wanted to do growing up. Now, you're not really sure what you want to do. And you felt like you're lacking the ambition or drive to figure it out. Everyone you've caught up with seems so much happier than you, like they've got their lives all figured out. And you've kind of been feeling like a failure by comparison. Your brother Malcolm arrives with his wife in tow shortly before you all sit down to dinner. He's been traveling for his job lately, and you haven't seen him since the day he picked you up from the dentist. Your parents haven't seen him since then. During dinner, they all catch up, and Malcolm talks about the amazing things he's done on the road. Your mother turns to you and asks you what you've been up to since you've seen them last. Oh, same old, you say. Nothing really new going on. Your mother makes a face. Oh, nothing new? How long are you planning to stay on that job of yours? What do you say? Okay, we can't tell them about the new job we're gunning for because we're not doing that right now. I don't... Lying is bad, and I won't lie. Admit that you don't know what to do or excuse yourself to the bathroom. Honesty is the best policy. Oh no, that's bad. Actually, you start sheepishly. I'm not really sure what I want to do right now. Lying is better? It was either this or taking a shit, okay? Telling the truth is always worth it. Lying will only get you into more trouble later when your lies are inevitably found out. Just be good at it. No one's good at lying. Your mom puts down her fork. So what? You're planning on living the way you do for the rest of your life? How would you afford a house on that paycheck? What about kids? Your father interrupts, lightly placing his hand over your mother. It's okay, Linda. Let the kids be what they are. There's nothing wrong with not knowing what you want to do in your 20s. I didn't get into construction until I was nearly 40. How would you know if someone was so good at lying that they were never caught? I feel like they wouldn't be my friend. Because, like, eventually, if they tell me things, I'm gonna ask to see them. Fair enough there, yeah? Like, I'm going to ask so many follow-up questions. Like, oh, I'm looking for... There's a job I'm looking into, and I'm gonna be like, what job? Oh, what did you write on the application? Oh, can you give me their address? Oh, tell me how it goes. Like, so many follow-up questions. You're gonna be fucked. Okay? Um... These are her family. She sees them, like, a few times a year. Your father interrupts, lightly placing his hand over your mother's. It's okay, Linda. Let the kids be what they are. There's nothing wrong with not knowing what you want to do in your 20s. I didn't get into construction until I was nearly 40. Your mother looks across the table at you, unsatisfied with her husband's reasoning. I don't think it's normal for someone at that age to not have the path. You need to think hard about it, or you never make anything of yourself. Hi, Maeve! Hey, Maeve! Do you remember Gamergate? Do you? Or do you need me to explain why we're playing this right now? They're still around, so yeah. Yeah, no, this is Depression Quest, the game that started it all. I was watching a history video on Gamergate earlier today, and that's why I decided, what if I just actually played Depression Quest? And I feel like it's pretty good, honestly. I feel like it's very well written so far. I feel like I'm in this picture and I don't like it. I also feel like my mouth is made of sandpaper because it's just getting way drier. The longer and longer I talk and I just spew words. This is the reading stream, everyone. The one where I read for hours. This emotionally exhausts you. You want to tell her that you're thinking hard, and that not knowing what you're doing with yourself bothers you more than it could ever bother her. But sometimes it feels like you're lost in the woods, and you wonder if you were to drop dead in your apartment, the world wouldn't notice. You tried playing it, but you gotta have more pictures with your computer games? Fair enough. Your favorite Fluffy stream is the one where she read about depression for a long time? Come on! I have to have had better streams than this one. I've done more interesting things. Anyway, let me keep reading about depression, you guys, for my fun and happy and funky stream, okay? But sometimes, and if you want to make her understand that more often than not, you feel like an alien. Like there isn't anywhere in this world that feels like a place where you belong, and you have no idea how to fix it or what to do. You wish you could find the words so she would understand that being looked down on for this kills you and drives home the feeling of being a total outsider. If you die, people will only notice due to the smell. I feel like I've noticed in about a year and a half, because then I'd be like, oh, Maeve's not been here a while. Maeve's probably dead. Because that's the first thing I assume about anyone who doesn't show up. They die. No one can stop watching me because they have better things to do. They're just dead. Okay, next. You're not wrong. Yeah? No one would ever stop watching my stream. Except for those people who I literally bullied into not watching my streams anymore. Or, I don't know. Death. If you died, people would know, like, in a minute, in a public space, and having two involved conversations. Just, like, not even from anything. You're talking with people, and then you just ragdoll. Someone typed /kill Hollerite into the command prompt, and it just happened. It's a rainy night. We don't get to know what day of the week it is? Kill. No, don't kill. You're hurrying through the rain to Alex's apartment at her behest. Though your pace is quick, the rain is steadily soaking up to your pant legs as you traverse through the town. And it's darkening your already poor mood. I don't know what you're talking about. I fucking love the rain. The call came while you were at home after a day of dealing with abnormally frustrating people. You'd spent the afternoon trying to unwind and get some of your project done. Oh, the project's back! The project hasn't been mentioned since the second slide. Alex called and interrupted one of your try to make progress, get frustrated at not making progress, have a harder time making progress due to frustration, repeat loops, and you haven't fully shaken off the feeling of being annoyed with yourself from it yet. You knock on her door, and the third knock, hear her voice call from further into the apartment to come in. As you cross the threshold, dripping rainwater all the way, you notice that the lights are turned down very low in the apartment. You squint to navigate it as you clutch onto your damp umbrella, but end up hitting your shin on a table, mumbling a profanity under your breath. Oh no! No! Not sex! Ah! Get it away from me! You barely make out Alex emerging from the hallway. I think that's supposed to be Clad. Oh, it is. It looks like Dad from here. It looks like Dad, but it's Clad. Clad in what looks like to be a robe with the bare skin of her legs peering out underneath. Why don't you come in and warm up? She asked in her designated, slightly cheesy, sexy voice. A wild kerning has appeared. This is terrible. Go back to being unable to get out of bed. You can set up your Venian to... Oh my god, am I an idiot? I keep forgetting Maverynthia does streams. Damn it. I'm an idiot. I don't think I can ragdoll my model. I can just kind of try to pretend to ragdoll. I'm going further down. I'm gone. I'm off. I'm dead. See? I'm flat. You forget the player's gender, we're a lesbian, right? Uh, Probably. I'm not sure if it's ever been stated. I I don't know. I, I think I'm just going to assume yes. I'll just assume yes. Um After a beat of silence, she states more naturally, "My roommates are out of town this weekend, so I thought it might be nice to have a little fun while they're away." After a beat of silence, she states more naturally, "My roommates are out of town." Oh, I've already fucking read that. It's fairly easy getting set up in VNyan, but it's a feeling you mostly copy paste the commands you have now. I think I tried VNyan once, and I didn't really like how it did face tracking. It felt really poor quality for some reason. Not that this program's that much better. I don't think this program's that good at tracking the face. Like, it doesn't really know when my mouth is open. It's hard to get it to be like, ah. There we go. Like, I have to open my mouth real far for it to be like, oh, the mouth is open now. Yeah? But this program is cool because hands. And also body. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, you have to use a webcam and meow face. What's meow face? No feet, right? I don't know. One moment. I don't have enough space in this room to get in front of the camera. One moment. One moment. One moment. I'm literally pushing the entire table back. ARKit thingy for Android devices. I think there's something like that specifically for computers with NVIDIA graphics cards. But I haven't had that set up yet, even though my computer does have an NVIDIA graphics card. Okay, does it know? Hey, we have legs, kind of. I can't get far enough away from my. This is a very small room. Okay, okay. Yeah, not both. That's just one of my. I'm wearing a skirt. It doesn't know where my individual legs are. There. No, the other leg is down. That leg is up. It does do legs, kind of. If I was wearing pants, it would probably be better because it would be able to tell my legs apart from each other, but right now it doesn't. It is cool. Yeah, it's very cool. And bend forward to the side, to the side. Whoa. Never seen a Beaveroid with legs? They all have legs. Here's the leg. Standing on one leg. Woo! Uh, yeah, but like usable ones? Yeah. That's less that's not Vieroid's fault. That's more the fault of like it's expensive to get full body tracking. And I think this might be the only program that can do like the webcam full body, and even then it's really janky, obviously. This is the wall here, by the way. That's the wall. This is one wall. There's another wall directly behind me. Third wall is like right there. It's a very small room. To bend down to get myself in shot, and I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna sit down again. I'm going back to my chair. You don't get legs anymore. There we go. Okay. Come on, table. Do you remember making your legs super different from the rest of your model because no one would ever see them? Wow, looks like you're miming? No, mimaying. I don't know what mimaying is. Doesn't look better for you? Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think it'd be better if I was wearing pants. It's just the main thing. But I'm not. I'm wearing like a long fucking dress right now. So it can't. That's why both of the legs were moving weirdly when I was only moving one of them. Because like the fabric was moving between them and it couldn't tell if both legs were moving or not. Anyway, could actually do the jumping jacks. Tried your thing, but it doesn't do VSF avatar models, which you... What the fuck is a VSF avatar? Wait, I can look that up. VC face? Uh, These just kind of look like Vroids again. What are these? If there's just an article? Basically allows you to use shaders other than VTune. Can't you do that already in like fucking you can mess with a bunch of the shaders in fucking Wardo, can't you? It supports additional physics bones. Oh, interesting. Anyway, we have to choose if we want to fuck or not. Now, this is a problem for me because I don't like sex and I'm never going to have it in my life. But I have to think about what's best for our girl's mental health here. I think she should fuck her girlfriend and it would be good for her. It would be good for their relationship, okay? Can we have a fade to black? Yeah, they're wrong button. There. That's my that's the black screen. There we go. Boom. Uh, it faded to black as I have to read this. You look at her standing, barely lit, and notice there's a few candles scattered around the apartment. It occurs to you that she's tried to make this night special for the two of you. I'm going to come back on screen. I don't want to be black screen for too long. Um uh, where was I? Is this a cover of fucking what's that song actually called? It it's not not it's this it's stop. What's the song called? For What It's Worth. This is a USSR cover of For What It's Worth? Wow. That's impressive. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. That's cool. I love For What It's Worth. I don't like how they that's the name of the song is never said in the song. Oh shit. My music's gone. Um I need new music. I need to get a new music. Let me check. Let me check. Do I have? We're going to listen to the Beyond the Labyrinth soundtrack. Yeah. Don't you love the Beyond the Labyrinth soundtrack? Anyway, um does that have anything to do with the Labyrinth movie? No, not at all. Not Pan's Labyrinth or just the Labyrinth. Nothing to do with Dave, just a completely unrelated game for the PS3. Um Okay, they toasted tonight. They made games for the PS3? Yeah, no, they made a bunch. This sounds very PC-88. The plot of the game is that it's set in an RPG where the RPG becomes alive, I think. So that's what's supposed to the rest of the music isn't that. Oh, it's Nanashi no Game? No, it's not Nanashi. No. Maybe one day I should stream it, but I'm not sure if it's been translated fully. I should check. I don't think I've ever tried to emulate the PS3 before either. I don't know how good that is. The two of you cheers and you ask her about her day. Conversation turns flirtatious, and then they fucked. Yep, okay, they do the thing. It's an early winter evening, and even though it's not particularly late, the time of year has lent the sky an almost prematurely darkened cast. Day after day, just like today, you trudge home from a job you've increasingly come to hate. On this day, your job misery seems to have reached critical mass, and not even shut in your rain-laden and uncomfortable work clothes. Why don't you have an umbrella? Why are your clothes rain-laden? See? It's not PC-98 anymore. Um, you collapse into your couch, blank and numb, while your job always seems to be an unpleasant reality of existence, was a position you sort of fell into unexpectedly, never intending to work there long term, and it's getting harder and harder to keep up. It's just water. Umbrellas are for cowards. I like my umbrella. It keeps my papers good. If I just let it rain on me, all my fucking documents and my electronics would get soaked. The 3DS version of the game has a translation. Oh, interesting. So I could play it on my totally real 3DS I have. Carry a bag. The bag is gonna get soaked! Also, I can carry a full sandwich with me and eat it without the sandwich getting soggy. What do you mean an umbrella won't help? It does. The rain doesn't get on the bag, Hollerite, with an umbrella. What do you mean an umbrella won't help? Nothing gets wet except for my shoes in an umbrella. Do you know what umbrellas do, Hollerite? I don't actually own a raincoat, Maeve. If the rain is heavy enough to make it through your bag, it'd be heavy enough to break an umbrella. Well, your umbrella's shit then. My umbrella's invincible. The game has been compared to Ico. Oh, I loved Ico. Maybe I should try to stream Ico again, because I never did, I never did fucking, finish it. Maybe your bag is just ass? I'm really considering banning you right now, Hollerite. My bag is just made of fabric. It's a canvas bag from the PLA. Okay? Like, an umbrella is so easy to carry and everything stays dry. I think you're just making life harder for yourself because you're a masochist. Anyway, well, it's certainly not your dream job. You've always just sort of stuck it out of necessity before. You'd like having both hands free and don't mind water. I can use both hands with my umbrella, Hollerite. You just don't have good technique. And like, while I don't mind water getting on me, bringing water like into the room or having to like change clothes before going to bed would be so annoying. How are you holding the umbrella without using hand? Oh, well, there's several ways you can do it. You can just elbow it. You can keep it by your neck. You can put it in a backpack. Various. Uh, you can actually just hold it with only a thumb, and then all the rest of your fingers are still free to grab other things. Anyway, what are we doing this night? You guess. You just haven't realized the possibility. And you also haven't realized that umbrellas are cute, okay? You've never ever considered it. That umbrellas be cute. You have a cute Choco Cat umbrella. Nice. Nice. Okay, let's work on our project for the first time in a million years. You sit down at your computer to blow off some steam, but are surprised to find your thoughts drifting to your long-neglected project. You talk yourself into opening it up and taking a look for the first time in what must be weeks. For whatever reason, your anger that you've been feeling towards your day job seems to have been converted into pure passion, as you seem to be overflowing with ideas tonight. I wonder what this project is. Pencils? We're making pencils. It's as if you've got a... The project is making Depression Quest. At the end of the game, we'll have made the game. Well, you don't get an unnatural amount of work done. You do work for a solid couple of hours, and it really feels great. What's more, you share some stuff across your social media networks, and you receive quite a bit of positive feedback, which makes you feel great. When you go to bed that when you go top bed that night, you tell yourself that your job may suck, but you at least got something you really care about that you can put effort into and feel really good about yourself. In fact, as you're falling asleep, you can barely even remember your work day. Aww. It's a little past 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night. You're at your computer, frustration levels peaked, rubbing your eyes and sighing heavily. You're working on a project from your job. Okay, this is a bit loud. Hi, Labyrinth. You're a bit loud, Labyrinth. It's right down my end, I guess. Your eyes and sighing heavily. You're working on a project from your job that has you stretched to wit's end, trying to meet a looming deadline. As it whips closer and closer, you're seriously doubting your ability to get it done. She's cheating art of some kind? Oh my god, that would be actually clever. Woo, only orthodox depression? Cheating on her girlfriend with a non-binary person named Bed Cannon. Oh my. You're dragging your feet a little at work due to your complete lack of energy. In spite of wanting to do a good job, you find yourself unable to push past it and feel horribly useless for it. Bed the bed. You slide your hand. Do you ever think Bob the Builder fucked his construction equipment? Like, if they're people, right? Do you think they fucked? Because they can consent, right? Yes. Thanks, Maeve. I bet you think about that every day. Alec really needs to talk about something. You feel like you're getting nowhere with your current task and could probably use a break. However, you know that you have a history of getting distracted, then losing motivation to pick something up again afterwards. Multitasking is impossible. Do they have holes? The exhaust pipe. And their mouths. Bob the Builder. Yeah, right in the grill and in that exhaust pipe. This clamping force might be real good, you know? Like, look at all these guys. You can't even imagine the sheer possibilities that this brings out. This guy has like luscious lips. Yeah, no, imagine what that hook could do. Absolute steamroller. Anyway, I feel like I'm going to answer Attic because I feel like if Attic's having a rough time, I don't want to leave Attic on the line when we've already reached out to so many other people when we've needed help. You're feeling like you've hit a brick wall with your task, so why not take a little break out and help out a friend? Attic got cheated on? Oh no! The two of you talk for a long time, and you lend a shoulder to your friend. You give him space to rant, to cry, and most importantly, to be able to voice his inner turmoil. You give him full attention and talk him through what his options are for what he does next. You keep him from doing something rash, and the two of you decide it's best for him to sleep on it before doing anything. Exhausted, he departs for bed and thanks you for being there to talk with him. Was it basement? I don't know. I also feel like choosing to talk to Attic um, would probably help the mental health because you'll feel better if you help someone else. As you close the I am window, you feel horribly sorry for your friend, but happy that you are able to help. It serves as a tangible reminder that you're capable of being useful to someone instead of solely being a mess that needs everyone else's help. You boot up your work project and find that you're suddenly able to get some solid progress done on it that night. We're only moderately depressed! We're only moderately depressed! Ah, we're doing good. It's a sunny Saturday afternoon. You're in deep thought on the way home from therapy. However, you notice this time that you're not in the same negative feedback loops you usually get trapped in when being this introspective. You realize that although you still have your bad days, your lows aren't quite as low as they used to be. Your antidepressant bottle rolls across your dash, or as you take a left turn. You've been on this medication for quite a while now after a period of trying a few different kinds. Though you still have minor side effects, they've overall become an unnoticed part of your life. You feel as if your life has generally changed for the better recently, and you begin to wonder if you need them anymore. You don't feel as much despair or hopelessness, and you hate yourself a lot less these days. Maybe it's time to stop taking these, you think. I seem to not take your fucking meds, dumbass! I don't think it's ever gone that low. Yeah. You have the realization that you can't be sure if it's a general life change that's making you feel better, or if it's just a sign that the medication is working. Decide against discontinuing your meds. It's not really a lesson you'd like to learn the hard way. The side effects of this particular kind are negligible. The next time you see Dr. Melville, you tell her about this. She informs you that this is a common train of thought that people who've begun using medication to help manage their depression experience, and that you've managed to dodge a bullet because it generally ends poorly. She also asks you to talk to her first before making any decisions about your medication in the future. Good. Yet another sleepless Thursday night. Imagine how many multiple fucking paths Zoe had to write. Also, the cat hasn't been mentioned in a while. Where is our cat? I need to hear from him. Her. I don't remember the cat gender. I think it was a girl, actually. You're at Alex's apartment, wide awake in bed as she's sleeping peacefully beside you. She fell asleep hours ago, and you've been laying there, unable to shut your brain up long enough to fall asleep. Added feelings of insecurity about your relationship to the rest of your night voice in your head keeping you up tonight. It was kind of a tense night between the two of you. You arrived after a stressful day at work, and you made dinner together. And when you made dinner together, you barely said a word. You were stuck in your own head and had a hard time really being present with her as your thoughts turned to all of the ways you feel like you're deficient at being a good person and beating yourself up mentally for each one. She told you she could tell you were in one of your moods, and she said she wouldn't push you, but missed talking to you as the two of you sat on the couch together. You wanted to tell her how much you love her, but you couldn't make the words come out right and end up sounding defensive instead. As you lay there next to her, you trace your fingers across her arm just slightly enough not to wake her. You still haven't explained your depression to her, or how you've started seeing a therapist, or that you've been taking medication. It's starting to feel more and more like a secret you're keeping instead of something she simply doesn't know about you yet. Becoming more and more apparent that's impacting your relationship with her, and you feel guilty about this. However, you're also terrified that if she knew exactly how fucked up you are, that she would leave you. You already worry that she's only with you because she doesn't realize how much of a terrible person you are yet. My God. And you're afraid this would be the final thing to expose you. She stirs to her sleep and squints as she opens her eyes, with the confusion that comes with waking up. She asks if you're awake and then if everything's okay. Tell her about your situation. Come on. We're making correct decisions here. I feel like as the game has gone on, the decisions are getting very more easier and more obvious to make. Like we're getting less and less hard choices. And then every single time I'm more and more sure about, yeah, no, we should just tell her. Um feel like a jerk for accidentally waking her up, but you're afraid if you put this off any longer that you won't find the strength to tell her everything later. No, actually, everything isn't okay. Can I tell you something? Something important? Alex sits up, rubbing the sleep out of her eyes. For the rest of the night, you lay side by side, holding hands as you tell her everything. You tell her how it's more than just a sad feeling sometimes, how you feel trapped by your own mind sometimes, how sometimes you feel nothing at all and you can't shake it off. You tell her how you've started going to therapy, how you feel embarrassed about it, and how it's working out for you. She listens the entire time, occasionally asking questions about how this or that works, or asking you to explain something further. She squeezes your hand and tells you she understands. Oh, that's a rhyme. And that she's sad you didn't tell her sooner. After laying silent for a moment, the weight of what you did hits you. You desperately want her to say something, tell you how she's feeling about all this, but you're too afraid of what the answer would be to ask. You start convincing yourself now that she knows everything. She's going to leave, and there's no way someone could deal with how you really are. Jesus. Just an endless cavalcade of problems. So how can I help? What do you want me to do? She asks. You forgot the ending quotation mark there. Doxed. You think for a second, and the answer you come up with fills you with despair. I honestly don't know. I wish I knew how to fix this, but I don't know that you can do anything. I think it's something I just have to live with. He looks at you with sad eyes before kissing you on the forehead. Then I'll live with it with you. I don't know how you could possibly love me. You guys have been dating for how long now? She rolls over and wraps her arms around your neck, settling her head on top of yours. You don't need to know. Just know that I do. And then she ends up depressed. She just contracts them. She like siphons the depression from your body. Oh, I can feel it. I'm getting the depression powers. Oh, my depression level. It's over 9,000. Ah. Power to sleep 12 plus hours a day. Hey, that's not depression, that's just life. It's a Friday night and you're lying across your bed feeling pathetic. As you were leaving work tonight, a group of coworkers asked if you wanted to join them for drinks. Feeling antisocial and put on the spot, you declined. You have a habit of doing this. I'm starting to taste the iron in my mouth. Is that a bad thing? Um, uh, you're often so convinced that you're weird and terrible and that any invitation to hang out will end in disappointment for those inviting you. You never feel like you know how to act in group outings, and you feel like a total creep. A total weirdo. What the hell are you doing here? You don't belong here. Thanks, Thom Yorke. Um, where was I? Since it seems to come so naturally to anyone who isn't you, you find yourself petrified of breaking some unknown social rule that you don't often go out. Now, however, you find yourself alone at home. Your brain has begun telling you how pathetic and sad you are for being unable to just be a normal person and go out with nice people. You can't figure out why you can't just go out and meet people and enjoy yourself. At the same time, you're also feeling like no one would possibly want you to hang out if they really knew you. Like you're dull and weird anyway. Try your typical strategy and boot up Netflix to distract yourself from these feelings. But frustration with yourself builds, and you realize you have to do something else with your night. Anything else to take your mind off just how awful and lonely you feel right now. Boss music starts. Okay, do we call Alex or do we play with our cat? What time of night is it? I want to play with the cat, but I don't know if that's the best option. I want to play with the cat. Is that okay? Is it okay in this world to simply play with the cat? Ah, fuck it. Cat time. Nights like this, you're very glad you made the call to become a cat owner. Feeling too socially burnt out to interact with other people, you go find your cat. You get her to chase the laser pointer for a solid 30 minutes before she tires herself out. She pats herself over to you and collapses in a heap in your lap, purring loudly. Though initially she hated being picked up, you carry her over to the computer desk and she doesn't object. Setting her down in your lap, you comfortably surf the internet for a while before heading to bed. Having her here with you has a calming effect, and it makes you feel a lot less alone. Thanks, boss music. It's it's a cold Saturday afternoon. You've just arrived at Alex's apartment, and you're happy to finally see her after a week of absence, due to your schedules not lining up due to work and school. Hug her in the doorway, but she breaks away sooner than normal and sits down on the couch as you take off your sneakers and lay them in the usual place, right next to hers. There's something I was hoping we could talk about, actually, she says. You instantly worry that you're being blindsided by a breakup conversation due to the sudden shift in tone, but she quickly smiles and puts you at ease when she sees all the color leave your face. It's nothing bad, I promise. With that, she leads you over to the couch and sits on the other end of it, facing you. So I hope this doesn't freak you out. And if things are going too fast, just tell me. She talks faster than usual and fidgets. We seem to be having a lot of weeks like this, and they really suck. I was thinking I'd ask, since things are so strong on with us, what are your thoughts on maybe moving in together? It takes a few seconds to sink in, and it leaves you a bit shocked when it does. You were worried she wanted to spend less time with you, not more. Do you want to? You ask. Well, yeah, I do. I mean, we have to sort out logistics and everything, but those are all things we can take care of. The music is so fucking intense here. Bum, bum, bum. You start to walk through the steps of imagining the two of you living together. You love the thought of being able to wake up next to her every day and seeing her so often. However, the more you picture it, the more a few things become apparent. There are things she's insulated from, like the days you don't feel like you can even get out of bed, the nights your medication keeps you from being able to sleep. All of those moments you're stuck staring at the wall, completely out of energy, feeling nothing. How could she handle that? How quickly would she want to get away? Okay. Hey guys, look at our depression levels. We're still depressed, but things are getting better. Whatever you're doing seems to be working. You feel like you're taking steps to affect change in your life. Enjoy seeing your therapist and the medication. We're doing good. This game's fucking easy. Yeah, tell her that we have concerns and can discuss them honestly. Like, obviously. You're really worried if Alex were to live with you, she wouldn't be able to deal with your days of being unable to get out of bed, or nights where you can do nothing but stare at the wall and panic. Even though you've discussed your situation with her, you still fear that she doesn't realize the depths of how bad it gets. It's one thing for you to detail how you feel sometimes, and for her to see it pop up occasionally. It's an entirely different situation for it to be something she has to live with alongside you. Well, I'd like to, but I think it's best if we talk about it a little bit more before coming to a decision. Though she seems a little defeated, you make it clear that you're not making excuses and you actually mean you want to talk. You reiterate a lot out of what you've told Alex that night, and although she gets a little defensive and tells you she knows all of that already, she confirms she's willing to help you sort through your issues. I feel like you forget I love you sometimes. I fucking hate relationships. Why do I have to deal with this? Christ's sake, it's like I have to deal with a second cat that's more maintenance. And it's these two people. Ugh. Fucking romance. They say they can figure it out. You're doing well! You're doing well! What the fuck? When does this end? I feel like we have to be getting to the end soon. It's December, and you've returned to your parents' house to celebrate the holidays with your family. Out the living room window, you can see a gentle flurry of snow drifting down to meet the pristine blanket of white from yesterday's unexpected Christmas Eve snowfall. And you quietly laugh to yourself about how incredibly cliche it seems. Still, as you sit down to dinner, you can't help but notice how being surrounded by family and the overly kitschy atmosphere your mom's decorations have created have actually made you feel relaxed and almost comfortable. Your mom is running around frantically checking the oven and the stockings and just generally trying to family time it up, while your dad sits at the head of the table drinking a beer and laughing alongside your brother Malcolm. His wife Karen is there too, whom you've always gotten along well with, and your parents even agreed to let you bring out your kitten. She's been darting in and out of people's legs, hopping onto laps all night. As you thoughtfully munch away at your turkey, listening to the conversations around you, your thoughts drift back over the last few months. You think about how hard things have gotten. You're playing over in your head some of your worst as well as some of your best memories. Wait, I think this is the end. I think this is the end. I think we might have done it. It seems like all of these things just came to a head over the past few months, with the sudden flurry of relationship turmoil and professional anxiety, social stress, and above all, an omnipresent sense of weight that it seems you have just recently become aware of. You're drawn out of your reverie by your dad's familiar booming laugh as at some cheesy comment Malcolm has made seems to have hit its mark. Sitting at that table, you're suddenly immensely glad for the chance to be able to ignore everything for an evening and not have to struggle to explain yourself once. Fortunately, everyone seems to be content with laughing at each other's jokes and discussing favorite sports teams. And for a while, you think you'll be able to get through a dinner without any embarrassing personal intrusions. But no sooner did the thought cross your mind than the table conversation trickles off, leaving a slightly awkward silence to descend upon the dinner. So, how are you doing these days? Your mom asks you pointedly. It's such a simple question, and one that you have seemed to have had to answer countless times recently. You take a moment to collect your thoughts, then, looking up, you take a deep breath. Well, you've never really thought of yourself as a fighter, and even to say it now sounds hokey. But looking back on the past few months where you are now, it really does feel like you've endured an immense struggle. And you look at where you are now with a sense of something that isn't quite pride. You still hate your job and find it unpleasant, but you're surprised to find that going into work every day is no longer a monumental challenge. You've started adopting some clever techniques like taking short 2 minutes breaks every hour to break up the monotony. And now you view your job as just 8 short hours of your day. A compartmentalization technique Dr. Melville told you about that you found actually works quite well. You know this job isn't what you want to do for the rest of your life, and you've started actively looking for other positions, even attending a couple of preliminary interviews. You've started making effort to go out with your friends more. This is like the slides at the end of an old Fallout game. While the social scene still makes you very uncomfortable sometimes, you're more and more able to let yourself just enjoy the company of your friends. In fact, your relationship with many of them has increased over the past little while. You still definitely have days where you flake out or don't feel up to hanging out, but for the most part, your friends are understanding and appreciate your communication. By far, the biggest change you've noticed in your life has been in your relationship with Alex. You were terrified of talking to her about everything at first, but looking back, you feel like it's only strengthened your relationship. She's always supportive of you emotionally, but lately the two of you have been even more in sync, and it really starting to feel like you're building a life together. Game's getting way more boring when I don't get to make choices. Um, it even seems like the two of you have been making a more concerted effort to sync up your schedules, and have been spending more and more of your downtime with each other. Pretty soon, you think moving in together may be a very real possibility. Dr. Melville has commented on how well you seem to be doing, and whether a result of the therapy, the medication, or both, you can't help but agree. With all that seems to have improved recently, it's sometimes difficult for you to think about the fact that you still have bad days, sometimes even really bad days. They serve as a stark reminder of the fact that this will be something you will likely have to deal with for the rest of your life. Depression is a battle, and though you're certainly ahead in the fight, you know the battle isn't ever going to be over. Sometimes Alex can tell when things are going rough, despite your best efforts to the contrary. While you know that your depression can never be cured, you have a very strong support network in your friends and even Malcolm. And armed with a newfound confidence in your friends and family, you accept that, though the road may be rocky, it is, at very least, not solitary. You meet your mom's gaze from across the table and muster up a smile. I'm good, Mum, you tell her. She says nothing, but you can feel her smile from across the room. Christ's sake, there's an epilogue? Okay, just the thanks. Okay. We did it. We did it. It's done. We fucking we completed the game. We got probably one of the best endings, I'm willing to bet. That's cool. Jesus Christ. I haven't drank any water. My mouth hurts. Ah. Ah. Here. In conclusion, I think that was a very nice little text adventure. And I don't think that it's anywhere near worth doxing someone over. I don't know. It's well put together and whatnot. I I think Annie's live actually. Let me check. I am allowed to turn that off. Oh yeah, Annie's live. Thanks for streaming. Thanks for being here. I'm always happy when people get here because I never expect it to happen, especially since Freya has life problems, so it's just me here by myself now. So I'm always very happy when you all come over um and sit with me for hours on end. So thank you for being a chatter. Anyway, we're going to raid my good friend Animoian Arts. Because Annie is doing art, and I'm excited about that, and I want to watch that, okay? Is that cool? It better be cool, because I'm not... You don't get a say in it. Boop. This channel is intended for mature audiences. Have a nice day, everyone.